Hi friends, this is the 6th lesson, that is the last class by Alplhonse Daudet. Now you can see we are coming to the end. It becomes more emotional as we can. We don't have words today because all the words are known to you. There's no point in repeating those things. But we have the highlights. First, every lesson to the last. He heard every lesson to the last. Hauser paying his respects to Hammond on behalf of all the people of that village. Old Hauser had come there with his primer. The bell tolls for the Prussians to enter. An extremely emotional scene. We were the fans. So toward the end of this, the whole thing becomes emotional and people burst out crying. But he had the courage to hear every lesson to the very last. Although he was upset, emotionally upset, he held on and he did not stop halfway through, but he listened to everyone, every lesson to the very last. After the writing, we had a lesson in history. Then the babies chanted their ba, ba, bi, 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 be, be, bi, bi, boo, boo, ba, ba, be, be, bi, bi, boo. Down there at the back of the room, old Hauser had put on his spectacles and holding his primer in both hands, spelled the letters from them. He could not read them. For example, SAT. He could not read SAT, but he spelled it SATIMYRESPECTS. My respects, like that. Naturally, what happened? Already we have seen why. The Frenchmen neglected their language. The Frenchmen neglected their collective responsibility to nourish their language. The Frenchmen did not bother about their language when they had it with them. Just as we take for granted our eyes and the function of our eyes. Only when we lose sight, then we will see, we will know the importance of, or some damage happens to our eyes. Only then we will know, or we will become conscious of how important your eyes were. Understand? So that is something like that here also. When you had your mother tongue, you could play with it, you could do anything with it. At that time, you did not bother about it. Now, your mother tongue is going. Your land is going. A conqueror is coming in. A conqueror is coming in with his language. He is going to impose his language. He is going to replace your mother tongue with his language. Then you feel the pain of it. You could see that he too was crying. And then his voice trembled with emotion. It was so funny to hear him that we all wanted to laugh and cry. Children, of course, even in this solemn situation, even in this very serious situation, children, when they heard old Hauser spelling the words rather than reading them, they felt like laughing. At the same time, they felt like crying. Ah, how well I remember it, the last lesson. The boy has become emotional. At once, the church clock struck 12. Now, and then the Angelus. Angelus means a prayer that begins like this: the angel of the Lord. And therefore it is called Angelus. At the same moment, the trumpets of the Prussians returning from drills sounded under our windows. And Hamel stood up very pale, sad, as if he was suffering from anemia. No blood on his cheeks, no blood on his face. the pale. That means the reflection of his sadness, how unhappy he was. He stood up in his chair. I never saw him look so tall. My friend, he said he, I, something choked him. He could not go on. Then he turned to the blackboard, took a piece of chalk, bearing with all his might, means putting all his strength into it. He wrote as loud as he could, "Beware the France." Then he stopped and leaned his head against the wall. He leaned his head against the wall. I am doing it against the board, but he leaned it against the wall. And then his head against the wall. Without a word, he could not speak. He made a gesture, a sign like this, to us with his hand. That means school is dismissed, you may go. How sad the ending is. School is dismissed, you may go. You may go. He did not speak, he did not utter those words, but students understood. And he said, thus the short story comes to an end. The short story, the narrator is little Alplhonse, who is a truant, who is not serious about his studies, who wants to spend his time outdoors if the weather is fine, who was afraid of the participle rules. Every day he goes to school unyielding. And every day he thought that he would be, a great scolding would be awaiting him. Now he understood how important was his classes. And that's what he said, how well I remember it. The last lesson. Bye. Have a nice day.